Yeah. Yeah, morning all. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not, right?
It's really good.
Okay. So Python is a kind of technology which is not recently introduced. It was introduced in the year 1989, right? So all of a sudden Python has got great boom reasons, right? The reasons which makes Python super popular, right? Reasons which makes Python suddenly super popular. Very less coding we see in Python. Simple syntaxes given by Python. Simple syntaxes, right? Interactive mode means we can easily interact with Python statement by statement. For each and every statement, it gives response, right? Multi-programming features. Multi-programming features, nothing but hybrid features, right? What all the features we see in different other programmings we see in Python? Multi-programming features. Yes. Wide varieties of applications creations, right? Wide varieties. Many built-in libraries. Multi-programming features, wide varieties of applications, many built-in libraries, thousands of models Python is providing, right? 89,300 inbuilt modules Python is providing for various domains, right? For every domain, it has got modules, right? So these are the reasons which makes Python super popular, right? Yes. Okay. So Python, before I go right further, I like Python software foundation, Python software foundation, right? Yes. Python software foundation, right? PSF, right? It is a non-profit organization. Non-profit organization devoted towards Python community. It was devoted towards Python community, right? It was launched in the year, right? 2001, right? And the objective of it, right? To foster the development of Python. From version to version, right? To foster the development of Python, right? In the year 2005, PSF, Python Software Foundation received Computer World Horizon Award. What is it? Computer World Horizon Award. Okay. The president for this, right? The president for this, nothing but the personality who developed or who introduced Python. The personality who developed or who introduced Python, right? Guido van Rossum. Guido van Rossum. The same personality is the president for this good. Headquarters. Delaware, US. Official website from where you can download and you can use Python. Official website. Python.org. Python.org is the official website from where we can download Python and install Python, right? Yes. Okay, Python versions. The various versions of Python, right? Python versions. Like Python 1.x version. It was released in the year 1990, right? Python 2.x version, right? It was released in the year, right? 10 years later, right? In the year 2000. 2.x nothing but 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, like first two version was released in the year 2000. The version what we are using currently is 3 version, right? Python 3.x, it was released in the year 2008. Almost like 15 years ago, it was introduced. Latest version of Python. Latest version of Python. Python 3.11, 3.11, right? Yes. Stable version of Python. Stable version of Python. .9 is the stable version. Stable version is nothing but mostly used version. Mostly used version, right? Yes. Previous stable version, right? Previous stable version. Python 2.7 is mostly used, right? Python 2.7. Python installation. So before I go, right, first I'll show you from the scratch how to download and how to install Python, right? So in the settings, apps, Python 3.11.2 uninstall it. So Python provides different softwares for different environments, for Windows, for Linux, for Mac OS. For Linux, if you're working with Python within Linux environment, no need of any separate installation. By default, Python comes as inbuilt within this Linux, right? And in Windows and Mac OS, we are supposed to download and we need to install this Python. Again, in Windows, for Windows 32-bit and for Windows 64-bit, it provides two different softwares. If you're using like Windows 32, right, 32-bit, we need to download Python 32-bit software, right? For Windows 64, we need to download Python 64-bit Python software. So how will you check whether your Windows is a 32-bit or 64-bit? I minimize, let the uninstallation go, right? So just right click on your PC or computer, right click on your PC or computer, go to properties, right? What is saying 64-bit operating system. Right click on your PC or computer and say properties, 64-bit operating system, right? Yes. Okay. Uninstallation in progress, right? Uninstallation was successful. Yes. Now downloading Python, right? An installation of Python. The official website of Python, python.org. Python.org is the official website from where we can download and install Python. Just observe this. Go to Chrome. Yes. Python.org. Python.org. Yes, you can see this downloads, right? Downloads all releases. You can click this downloads all releases. Downloads all releases, right? Scroll down, Python. Okay, just scroll down, looking for a specific release. Right? So you can see the latest version 3.11.2. 3.11.2. It was released in the February 8, 2023, right? Almost like 1.5 months ago. It was released 3.11.2. Click that and scroll to the bottom of the page. Scroll to the bottom of this page, right? You can see files for Windows 32-bit, separate Windows 64-bit. Click for Mac OS 64-bit universal installer. Windows just 24 MB of size, right? Just the software size is 24 MB, right? Yes. The download is completed, right? Yes. Just go to python.org, right? Website that downloads. Select Python 3.11.2. In that Windows installer 64-bit. Your download is finished. Click this, right? So you will get this window, right? We will get this window. Install Python, right? Install Python. At the bottom, you can see before you go with the installation, at the bottom, add Python to path. Add Python to path variable of OS. Add Python to path variable of OS. Just click this and go for customize installation. Go for customize installation, right? So no need to select all this, all got selected, right? They're pre-selected like documentation, pip for installing any Python module, ideally integrated development environment, Python test suite, right? These things you get. Just to say next. Advanced options. Nothing to select here, like customize installation. The location where you want to install Python, you can see that location. By default, where it is getting installed in C, users, Dell, app data, local programs, Python 3.11, right? So tomorrow, if you want to locate your Python where it is got installed, we need to enter into all these subdirectories, right? Many subdirectories we need to enter, right? So it will be difficult to type the path, right? So remove all this. Remove all this. Remove all this, right? Within the C drive, just to say Python 3.11. Python 3.11 is nothing but 3.11. C drive, Python 3.11. A folder gets created automatically. within this Python 3.11 folder, right? This Python is going to get installed. Just say install, hardly it takes 1 minute time to install, right? Yes, just say install, your installation starts. Right? Yes, almost done with the installation, right? Once it is done, let us check whether it is properly installed or not. Right. Yes. Setup was successful, right? Close it. In the bottom search panel, type CMD to go to the command prompt and say enter, right? CMD and say enter. And type Python here. Type Python and say enter. It should display the Python version and the Python interpreter has to be opened, right? Displaying this Python version 3.11.2. 3.11.2 is the right version. And the interpreter, right? Yes. 3 plus 4. Any valid Python statements you can type and check, right? It gives response. Python is an interpretation, right? Line by line execution. 3 plus 4. 5 into 7. X is 10. Y is 4. What is X? What is Y? What is X plus Y? X minus Y, X into Y, X by Y, right? X into 2 multiplication 10 into 2. 20, x to the power of 2, 10 square is the power symbol, right? Yes. X equal to hello HEL. So it's working, right? X into 5 means hello for 5 times. X into 6 times, right? It's any valid Python's QUIT quit, right? Comes out of this, right? It's working properly. Yes, Python is installed successfully, right? Yes. Python execution modes. So if anybody working in Linux environment, right? If they're using Python within the Linux environment, if you want the latest version, by default, Python comes as inbuilt, right? No need of any separate installation. But if you want the latest version of Python to be installed within your Linux, then use this command, right? Yes. Like you need to do everything from the root user, sudo apt and get install. Python 3.11, right? Yes. Next. Python execution modes, right? Python execution modes, 2 modes of execution, right? 2 modes of execution. First one, interactive mode, this can be discussed, right? Second is like batch mode. We have got 2 modes, interactive mode and batch mode. interactive mode and batch mode. Here in interactive mode, here we directly type here. We directly type. Here we directly type Python statements, right? Here we directly type Python statements on the interpreter, right? Here we directly type Python statements on the interpreter. And the user can easily interact. User can easily interact with Python statement by statement. We directly type Python statements on the interpreter and the user can easily interact with Python statement by statement. Advantage. So generally why we go for interactive mode is if you doesn't have any idea about a particular functionality, you can just type and check what response it is going to provide. Based on that, you can analyze it, right? To test the functionalities of Python, to test the functionalities, right? To test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python. And to learn Python, right? Yes. This interactive mode for testing the functionalities and for learning the Python as a beginner, right? This interactive mode works better. But this interactive mode can't be used for developing applications, right? For developing applications, this interactive mode can't be used. We go for batch mode. Yes. Yes. So to only for testing the functionalities of Python for learning Python, okay, right. But for developing applications, this interactive mode is not preferred. For developing applications in Python, this interactive mode, we need to go for batch mode. Here in batch mode, the name itself saying batch of statements, set of statements. Here we write batch of statements within the editors or IDEs. Here we write batch of statements within the editors or IDEs and save it by using .py extension. Save it .py extension and later submit it to Python and later we write batch of statements within the editors or IDs and save it by using .py extension. Later submit to Python. What are the various editors and IDs? Integrated development environment, right? Various editors. Right. What are the various editors? Various editors, right? Yes. Like Notepad, we can write and create Python file, right? Notepad. Edit plus, right? Edit plus. VI editor, Nano editor. Notepad, edit plus VI editor. So first two are for Windows environment, next two are for Linux environment, right? So for Notepad, text edit plus, right? With any text editor, you can create .py file and later we can submit to Python, right? Yes, these are the various editors where we can write the Python code, but IDEs in real time we use IDEs, right? What are the various IDEs supported by Python? Integrated development environment, right? Yes. PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter, VS Code, right? So PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter, and VS Code, Visual Studio Code, right? So these are the, you may ask why these many IDEs for Python, these many editors, these are the IDEs, right? Yes. Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter, and VS Code. PyCharm is the mostly used ID. It's the mostly used one, right? Mostly used. Among all this, PyCharm is the one which is mostly used. So we may ask why these many IDs for Python, why not one or two, right? So Python is used for different environments. So different environments use different IDs. For example, for data science, we are using Python. So in data science, we use Jupyter Notebook, right? Jupyter Notebook we use a lot, right? Yes, for Jupyter Notebook. So even for big data environment, for data engineering, for these things, right? Big data environment, Spider is mostly preferred, and even Jupyter Notebook is mostly preferred for data analyst, for data science, for data engineering, right? Yes, Spider and Jupyter are the mostly used ones. And for typical web applications creations, for typical web applications, PyCharm is mostly preferred. PyCharm is mostly preferred, right? So in our course, we'll be using PyCharm, right? We'll be using PyCharm. I'll be showing you on multiple IDs, right? How to run the code in different IDs, how to install this PyCharm, Spider, Jupyter, VS Code, all this I'll be showing you, right? How to work on this. I'll show you like 4 to 5 IDs, how to run and how to execute, right? How to work with this. So if you talk about the editors, within the editors, we can create .py file and we can execute this, right? Yes. Developing, right? Developing the first Python application. Within a editor, right? Yes. Example like Notepad. Just open Notepad. And type the following Python statements. We didn't discuss anything about Python, right? Python technicals. So just we take some values, two numbers, and performing arithmetic operations, right? Right. I'll take two values, X value as 10, Y as 20. So just perform arithmetic operations, right? Print X plus Y. print x minus y, x into y, x by y, x plus y, x minus y, x into y, and x by y, right? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. I will copy this to a separate notepad file, right? And create a .py file. Yes, I'm opening notepad. Yes. Just copy into this. Save. So I created a sub so here I'm writing save as sample1.py. Save as sample1.py and submit to Python, right? Submit to Python as and submit to Python, right? Yes. So go to the command prompt and go to the command prompt, right? Yes. Okay. Here, just here type Python here and submit your entire file path through Python. So in the C drive, right, within the Python 6am folder, Python 6am folder, right? Yes. Python 6am batch within that sample1.py. Just say enter. What is the file name, in which folder it is present, and in which drive, right? Submit the entire path to Python and say enter. Enter, right? 10 plus, see this output you got, right? 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20, right? So just type Python and just use the entire path where the file is available. But here we are writing the code, right? We are writing the code at one place. We are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place, right? We are writing the code at one place. Why? Where we are writing? Within the notepad. And executing at the other place. We are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place within this command prompt. But to write and execute, at the same place. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, Integrated Development Learning Environment. We have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation. Which comes along with Python installation. We have IDLE, which comes along using which we can write and execute at the same place. We can write and execute at the same place, right? Yes. So just we're writing the code at one place and executing at another place, but to write and execute at the same place, we have ideally, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can write. See, just whenever we install Python, right? Whenever we install Python, go to the start programs, check where your Python is installed within this Python 3.11, right? What is the first thing you see? IDLE, Integrated Development Environment, right? It's learning environment. Integrated Development Learning Environment. This Python shell gets open in this way. 3.11.2, this is the version, right? Okay. Just say file, new file. You need to say file, new file. Write your code and execute your code. Write the code here itself and run option is there, right? Run the code here itself. So just take some values, x as 10, y as 20. Print x plus y. Print x minus y. Print x into y, right? Yes. X by y. Just I'm performing some arithmetic operations. Okay. Save it. Okay, now just write the code here itself and run the code here itself. Run module. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. X equal to 10, y equal to 20, print x plus y, x into y, x by y. Run module. Just observe this. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, right? Yes. Okay, Python next, like, okay. So I'll just show you like how to work within this IDs. How to work within this IDs after we do some little bit of technical content, we'll discuss on this IDs, like how to install PyCharm and how to write the code, execute the code within this PyCharm. Run option is, see, once again I show, whenever you go to start programs, wherever this Python is installed, right? So you have 3.11. If you go to this IDLE, the first thing what we see, right? You will get the Python shell where you can work with interactive mode. You can, any valid statements you can type, it will work with interactive mode. Any statement you type, it gives response. But I want batch mode, means file, new file. In this interactive mode, you won't see run option, but file, new file. Here itself, we can write the code. Here itself, we can run. Now, can you see this run option here? Yes. Yes. So next, if I just go to the basics of data types and variables, right? Data types or variables. every organization use case. Every organization use case has got data and operations. Print is the function to print the value, right? Yes, x plus 5 values. So print is compulsory, right? So every organization use case has got data and operations. Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using functions. Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using functions. Functions we discuss later, but data represented using. For example, any organization, if you take the example of a bank consists of customers and employees. Customers has got a data, right? Data and operations, data like customer ID, customer account number, address, balance, and operations like withdraw operation, transfer operation, deposit operation. Similarly, for employee ID, name, salary, designation, and the operations like calculating tax, net salary, all this, right? So data represented using data types, operations using functions. So in Python, we see dynamic data types. Observe this in Python. Dynamic data types. Here, x value is 10. In other programming, if you want to define some variable, x as 10, compulsory we need to say index. If you want to give y equal to 4.5, we need to support say float y. Z equal to a string like hello, like string we need to say. But in Python, directly we say x as 10, y as 4.5, z as hello, right? So here, what kind of variable x is means based on the data type defining, you are saying it as integer. What kind of variable y is means based on the data type defining, you are saying it as float. Here, based on the data type defining, you are saying it as string. But here, what kind of variable 10 is? What value you have assigned to x? What value you have assigned to x? Based on that, integer variable is going to get created dynamically. That's why I said dynamic data types. If you're assigning a float value, float variable gets created. If you're assigning integer variable gets created. If you're assigning a string value, string variable gets created. Okay, so that's why we say dynamic data types. What value you are assigning? Based on the value assigned, the variables are getting created dynamically, right? There is a function in Python type to know the type of x. To know the type of a variable, type of x is integer. Why integer? Because you assigned an integer value. Type of y is float. Why it is float? You assigned a float value. Type of z is string. Why it is string? Because you assigned a string value to it. So if you what based on what data type. So here I'll be discussing 4 cases to make you understand, right? 4 cases I'll be discussing to make you understand much about this data types and variables, right? Yes. Observe these 4 cases. What happens internally whenever you define some variable, right? So case 1, defining a variable. Okay. Whenever you say x equal to 10, whenever you say x equal to 10 means internally one object gets created. Internally one object with value 10 is going to get created. It's going to occupy some address. The address is given to x. See, what x is storing here, what x is storing, don't say like x storing 10. X stores this address. 3 things you need to understand here. Just observe this. Whenever you define some variable, object gets created, stores. So 3 things means like print x. Prints the content at that. Whenever I say print x, right, first it goes to this address and prints whatever present at that address. It goes, print x means first it goes to this address and prints the content whatever present at that address. Prints the content at that address. Prints the content at that address. What is the content at that address? 10. 10, right? Yes. Next, if you want to print the address, where exactly? Print ID of x. Prints the address of x. Prints the address of x. 103070, right? Type of x, right? Print a type of x. Type of x will be what type? Prints the data type of x. Prints the data type of x. What data type you have assigned to x? Integer. So integer. Print x prints the content, ID of x prints the address, type of x prints the data type. These 3 things you need to understand, right? How to print the content, address, and the data type, right? Observe this case 2 now. Okay. Observe this case 2, right? Now everyone, you can unmute yourself and try to give your responses, right? I want the sessions to be interactive. X is 10, Y is 20. You can just give your responses through voice by unmuting or through chat panel, right? In the chat, you can type your message responses. Right? So X is 10, Y is 20. How many objects will be created internally, right? Yes.
2.
Yes.
2.
2 objects,
Two
right?
objects, right?
2 objects. Then for 20, one more object. Yes, 2. For 10, you think some address, stored so and so address, and this address given to x. And for y, some randomly I'm taking some address, but where exactly it is stored, that address will be returned, right? Yes. So if I say print x, what is the x value, right? Everyone, what is the x
10.
value?
10.
Yes, it goes to this address. The 10. ID of x, what is it? 1030.
3070.
Type data type of x. Type of
Int.
x is what?
Int.
Int type, because you have assigned a integer value to x. Yes. Print y. Print y,
Twenty.
right? 20.
20.
The content, right? Print ID. ID of y.
104050.
04050. Type of
Int.
y is what? Integer.
Int.
Okay. Fine. two different variables with two different values, then two different objects with two different addresses are going to get created, right? Case 2. Next, case 3. If you have got any queries, you can just unmute yourself. You can ask then and there, right? Case 3. X value is 10. Y, X and Y are there. Y also 10. How many objects will be created internally, everyone?
2.
Yes, everyone. Try to answer. How many objects? X is 10, Y is 10. How many objects will be created?
2 objects. 2 objects.
2.
Observe carefully. Only one object is going to get created here. Internally, only one object gets created. Before creating object for Y, it checks any object with value 10 is already available. If available, the same address will be given to it. If not available, it creates a new object. See, if you got X is 10, Y is 10, Z is 10. Don't think like 3 objects with value 10 gets created. Only one object with value 10, and this address is given to X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z, they are sharing the same content. They are sharing the same address, right? They are sharing the same content and the address. Print X equal to print Y equal to print Z. Print X equal to print Y equal to print Z equal to 10 only, right? The same content. Print address of X. Print address of Z, right? Type of X, type of Y, type of Z will be integer. This is case 3. Observe this case 4, right? Yes. X is 10. Here X only, X equal to 20. How many objects will be created, right? Yes.
2 objects. 2 objects.
Only 1.
2. 2.
Observe carefully. Two objects. So based on the value.
Sir, we are reassigning, right?
So here, yes. 1 second.
Yeah.
X equal to 10, X equal to 20. Two objects first. Two objects with two different addresses. Okay, up to here it's fine, right? But if I say print X, what is the X value it is going to print? 10 or 20?
20.
It always latest.
20, yeah.
Always prints the latest value. Print X means it prints 20. What happens to the previous one means it gets removed. So X can store only one object address. X can store only. So the previous one gets removed. Only this one exists, right? Print ID of X. So this is just I'll take 2 minutes more, right? Understood all these 4 cases? Any queries in these 4 cases? How this case 1, right? Defining a variable, print X prints the content to 10, ID of X prints the address, type of X, what is the data type, right? Yes. In case 2, observe this case 2, right? 2 variables, X as 10, Y as 20. 2 objects, 10 and 20. For 10, 1, for 21. 10 will occupy some address, 20 will have some address. Print X means 10. If you want to print the address, ID, there is a function ID. There is a function type to know the type integer. Print Y, 20. Address of Y, type of Y. But if the contents are different objects. But if the contents are same in the case 3, you observe. X value 10, Y also 10, Z also 10. Only one object. One address. Its address given to X, Y, and Z. Now observe this case 4. Here, X and X only. Right? Print X20, ID of X. Right? Understood, right? Any queries in this, anyone? Right.
No.
Okay. So just I'll take 2 minutes right there. Data types. Two types. Data types are of two types. Fundamental data types, right? Fundamental data types and collection data types. Object holding single value, right? Object holding single value. Observe, object holding single value. Example, right? X equal to 10 means one object holding single value 10 with some address. So these are 10 object holding single value. X equal to 10 means it's an object holding single value. An object is created with some address. Collection data type, the name itself saying collection of values, group of values. Object holding, right? Object holding multiple values, set of values. For example, X equal to only one value there. Here X equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. In the square bracket means internally one object gets created. In that object we see multiple values or set of values, group of values, right? Yes, it is going to have some address, that address given to X. Here object to holding multiple values. Fundamental data types, mainly 5 types. Integer, float, Boolean, string, complex. Integer, for example, age 25, float, height 6.2. Boolean means something in true or false, right? String is collection of characters. Collection of characters means Hyderabad, right? Complex X plus IY, real and imaginary, right? But in Python, instead of 5, we use J, right? And collection types are of 4 types of collections. List, tuple, set, dictionary, right? By seeing the braces, squared bracket means list, normal braces means tuple, curly braces means set, curly braces with key and value means dictionary, right? Example, right? 10, 20, 30 list. Y equal to this 10, 20, 30 tuple type. 10, 20, 30. What type? Set type. Dictionary also, right? W equal to name Ajay. age 25. So the key value, right? This name is key, Ajay value. Age 25, key value. City Hyderabad, key value, right? So will we have a lot of discussion on these collections, right? We'll be discussing more than 1 week on these collections. List properties, list indexing, list slicing, list functions, list method, list addresses, nested list modifications. The same way for tuple sets and dictionaries. A lot of discussion on this. And in this int float, we have got a lot of discussion on strings, like string indexing, string slicing, string functions, string methods, and string special characters, right? Yes. So this is the course content I'll be discussing, right? It will be in brief, right? It will be in brief. Basics, operations, modes, editors, IDs, constants, operators, IDs, flow controls, loops, strings, collections, lists, tuples, sets, dictionaries, functions in Python, modules in Python, packages in Python, errors and exceptions, file handling, object-oriented, right? Regular expressions. I'll be discussing different models related to different domains like data science related, big data related, operating system related, database related, regular expressions, OS, and GUI graphic applications. So regular expressions, database connectivity. I also show installation of one database, step by step, how to download and how to install. Python, datetime, operating system module, advanced concepts, iterator, generator, closest, decorators, web scraping, working with files, GUI programming, Excel workbook, data analytics, introduction to data science, Pandas module in brief, NumPy module, Matplotlib, and apart from this, Django, right? This Django plus UIN. Okay. Those who wants only Python, right? Right. Only for Python, it's like 70 hours of classes, right? 70 hours. We spend 70 hours for only Python. Who wants full stack, right? Plus 50 hours added. So it will be like 120 hours, 4 months. For only Python, two months, like 2 months it takes, 70 hours, right? So yes. So you can see this within the chart panel, right? You can see this course content. Demo, if anyone has missed the demo video, like in the last session, and just to go through that, you can see in the chart, right? A demo video link is given, and just to go through, and the payment process and procedure is given, right? Yes. Yeah, any queries from your side? Anyone, you can just ask your queries if you got any. Yes. Yeah, tomorrow also you can attend the session, same time, using the same link to see more on this, right? Yeah, Chris. So anyone who have not attended the previous introductory session, right? You can see in the chart, right? A link is given, and also you will be getting to the mail also today, the video links of the previous session. So you will be getting great command, right? Of the end of the course. We'll be discussing everything from the ground level to the advanced level. Step by step, everything I'll be typing and showing you, right? Yes. You can see that YouTube playlist is given, like, fine. Fine. So I'm stopping for now. We'll continue tomorrow, more discussion on this, right? Yes. Fine. So thank you for your time. We'll meet tomorrow, same time, same link. Bye.